All right. Here we are at the last topic of ancient Greece called Hellenistic culture. So let's set it up again. All right. Alexander the Great. I don't know. I don't know if he was great or not. That's something to think about. Was he really great? That's kind of a question you need to ponder. What made him great? Who called him great? Where did that come from? Maybe it's just Alexander the Horrible, Alexander the Terrible. Imagine if he was, if you were from Persia, you would call it Alexander the Murderer, Alexander the Conqueror. Was he great? I don't know, something to think about. Anyway, so he conquered first all of Greece, then he conquered all of Persia. He conquered all of Egypt. They loved him there. They turned him into a pharaoh. Then he went over to India, conquered some of that, and boom, he ends up dying. And we don't really know how. We know it's some type of disease or sickness. I think maybe he was poisoned to death. Well, anyways, he's dead. And what he left behind was this immense empire that was brand new because all those four places blended together. Their four different cultures came together, boom, making this new one that we call today Hellenistic culture. Now, just imagine for a minute. Imagine all the food. Yeah, you get some African spices. You get some Indian spices, some Greece spices. You put them all together. Man, that's what they got. They got brand new foods. Imagine the music. Imagine all the new things that were created in this new culture called Hellenistic culture. All right, let's get into just a little bit of it. So right here, I'm going to work from the bottom up, and you'll see how this all works together. And it's not working good. Oh, you got to be kidding. This site's not working good for me. All right, we'll try to get through it anyway. So it's going to work out. So the blending of this is called Hellenistic culture. There's the topic of it. You got to know the four different groups. All right, it was Greek, Persian, Egyptian, Indian blended together, a new culture. It's kind of like of America in a sense. When you think of America, what is America? It's a blending of lots of different cultures. Ours is a lot more than what they did, but there, so we know the four there. Okay, so in Hellenistic culture, something you need to know right here. In Hellenistic culture, there's going to become one city that's going to become like, kind of think of like Washington, D.C. It's kind of like the center, or New York City. It's the center of the Hellenistic culture where everything is going to really happen in that one spot. And the name of that city is right there. All right. It's pronounced Alexandria. Now, this name Alexandria, look what it's named from. Can you tell? Alexander. So it's named after him. And what's wild, if you look at this right here, check it out. There's all the Alexandrias of the world today. I think there's 31 of them. Yeah, there's Alexandrias all over the world. So this idea that Alexander is great is not just considered just the people of Greece. Look, there's 4 or 5 of them in there, right there. In the United States, look how many Alexandrias we have. Has anybody ever been to an Alexandria? I used to live near one in Louisiana. You see it right there. Yeah, there's one over here in Alabama. There's Alexandria. You ever heard of Alex City in Alabama? Yeah, Coach Campbell used to work in one, and anyway, down there in that place. Look at all those Alexandrias. Now, it's not just knowing that there's a lot of Alexandrias all over the world. There's one in Australia. It's like, what is actually there? What made it a big deal? Okay, so let's look at a few things right here. Check this out. You have this lighthouse there. It's called the Lighthouse Pharaohs. Let's look at it. All right, let's find it. Let's check it out. Lighthouse Pharaohs. Let's actually look at the thing. Check out some pictures of it. This big, beautiful lighthouse that's not there anymore today, but that's what it may have looked like. Check that out. All right, that is in Alexandria. Now, you got to think about now, where is Alexandria though? It didn't show you very well. All right, I need to come back over here and show you where was that original one. Anybody see this right here? So we're in, what place are we in? We're in Egypt. That's right. We come all the way down. Right here on the delta. Remember the delta? It's sitting right there. There's Alexandria. So it's a port city. So everybody could get in and out of it very easily. Boats could come in and out of it very easily and bring whatever, like new products. They could take products out. People could come and live there for a while. This became the #1 vacation spot on earth after Alexander died. So if you were from Rome or you were from Greece, from Italy, from somewhere in Asia, you wanted to go to Alexandria. Let's go hang out for spring break. That's where they went. Everybody with me on that? All right, so why? because they wanted to see that. They wanted to see that right there because it's amazing. It's wonderful. They had big, beautiful libraries there. They had, check this out. They had a zoo there. Yeah, you could go to the zoo in Alexandria. And you're thinking like 2,000 years ago they had zoos? Yes, they did. This is over 2,000. We're looking at like 2,500 years ago. And they had zoos and stuff like that. Libraries was a big thing. They had a whole bunch of like museums. They had like colleges set up where people could go to school and learn. It was a neat place. All right. Pretty cool. All right. So one of the things you got to know about this is that in Alexandria, okay, Alexander's scholars, those that are left behind, look what they would do. They would go and they would take the learning of the day. It says Greek and Egyptian learning in the sciences, but they were trying to preserve it. Where do they preserve it? They preserved it in writing, manuscripts. Okay, and they would take this new knowledge, they'd stick it in books, they'd stick it in stone, they'd stick it wherever they could so that stuff would last forever and ever and ever. And still around today. Some of the stuff we still use today. Check this guy out. Look what he did. This one astronomer, his name is right here. How would you pronounce that? Anybody want to try it? Anybody? Anybody? There you go. You tried it. I like that. I don't know how to pronounce some of these. That's why I did that. Pronounce it the way it's spelled. Aristarchus. Or I really don't know. Anyway, so he's going to be the first one to prove. This is kind of a wild little scientific fact. It's good to know that nobody believed this before this. That the sun is larger than the earth. Yeah. Pretty neat. All right. Check this guy out. Some of you might not like this guy. Euclid right here. Euclid, the mathematician, developed the basis. Check what he did. Check what he did. Geometry. How many of y'all like geometry? Like when you study shapes and all that stuff, this is the guy who did it. Some of you are shaking your head. No, I don't like geometry. Well, it gets worse when you get into trigonometry. Yeah. Check out this. Some other stuff. Archimedes. Look what he does. This scientist, he develops the idea for building the pump and this engine that we still actually can use today. Think about like choo-choo trains for a minute. What was that first engine that choo-choo trains used? What was it called? A used coal, but the coal heated something up. There you say it. It's a steam engine. Archimedes, he'll develop the first steam engine over 2,000 years ago. Isn't that awesome? In Alexandria. So all this comes out of this culture of the Hellenistic culture. All right, now some other kind of neat but weird kind of things. Check this out. Try to pronounce that word. Stoicism or stoic. You ever heard of someone being stoic? Okay, it's a whole new way of thinking. It seems very religious, but it's really like a philosophy of how you live. Check it out. It promotes this. You're doing what's right, but living a simple life, a virtuous, simple life. You don't want to get too complex, oh man, it causes worry and stress. Let's just be good to each other, love each other, let's have peace, and live a simple life, and everything will be good. Stoicism, all right? Then check out this word. This word is fun to say. It's kind of like a massage for your throat. All right, it's called Epicureanism. You should try saying it. Epicureanism. Feels good down in the throat, right down here. Yes, it does. Right there. Epicureanism. Check what it focused on. It focused on your senses. Your eyes, your nose, your taste, your ears. Epicureanism. That's kind of weird. Picture me rubbing my ears. I know it is, but it'll be okay. It'll be all right. Epicureanism. So new ideas. All right, look, this is what you got to think, though. Why are people able to come up with these new ideas? Because they're going to be in a time of peace. After Alexander died, there's going to be a lot of prospering of people. They're going to have time to sit and think and come up with new ideas, new inventions. How can you come up with some new invention? Well, first you got to have time for it. All right, and that shows this time after Alexander dies, it's going to be a good time. All right, check out this next thing. Now, this is pretty neat. This is mixed with legend, fact, and myth all together. Just giant statue. It's going to be built called the Colossus of Rhodes. It's over 100 feet tall. Check out this thing. They built this thing. This is considered one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Colossus of Rhodes. All right. Let me see if I can get a nice big picture for you. Look at that. Have y'all ever seen that? It's amazing. All right, so they built this. Look what it's doing. It's protecting this port. All right, all the boats could come in and out. This is in Rhodes. It's right there in Egypt. It's really close to Memphis. Y'all ever heard of Memphis, Tennessee? That's where Memphis got its name from. So this guy, this big old tall statue right here, and I want to say maybe 250 years before Jesus was born, an earthquake happened. All right, it's made out of the metal bronze. Okay, the earthquake happened, caused it to tumble, and it fell down. This is where we think it was today. Check it out. You see where it could have been. Now, there's some arguments between scholars of whether it's actually the legs were split. They think that maybe it was just like the Statue of Liberty, where the legs are really close together. All right, but it was used to ward off enemies and all that stuff. There's a lot of cartoons. It's got pictures of it in there, all types of stuff. We think that at a few years right after it fell over, that there were some Arab / Muslim people took over Rhodes and took all that bronze and sold it. And it was if you think about this, imagine all an earthquake happens, that big statue falls over. What just happened to that port? It's blocked. Boats can't get in and out. So they had to somehow figure out how to get all that bronze out of there, and they got rid of it all. There's some of it still underwater. People go and look at it all the time. Anyway, so I challenge y'all. Remember the Colossus of Rhodes. It's in a lot of movies. It's in a lot of cartoons. Y'all have heard of DuckTales? You ever heard of that? DuckTales has got a whole video clip of it in there. It's kind of that. Anyway, so I'm going to wrap this up. It was short, sweet. Hellenistic culture. It's a culture of a blending of all these different. Remember, big thing you got to remember. Who is it? It's the Greeks. It's the Persians. It's the Egyptians. And it's the Indians all blended together. Anyways, got any questions or comments, please leave your comments below. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next video.